the difference between these new prophetic dreams and the other ones was that now I had to interpret whatever I was seeing. Before, I could actually and literally take it face value. What I was seeing was exactly what was going to happen. This time, it wasn't that simple. So what happened was, and this was one of the first dreams I had when I moved to London, was I dreamt about my dad's dog. She was Black Labrador. She was called Frida, and she was lovely, adorable. Not going to talk about her because this video is not about freedom, but she was a lovely dog. Anyway, so this dream was very interesting. It was like a film. So the camera zoomed in and I could see Frida, and then zoomed out and focused on my middle sister. And she was offering me, or at least showing me, what looked like a baby. But it wasn't a baby. It honestly, it looked like an alien. And I woke up and I thought, what a strange dream to have. And I put it in the back of my mind. I just thought it was nonsense. A few weeks later, my eldest sister calls and she says, guess what? Frida is pregnant. And I was like, what? Uh, and afterwards I said, who's the father? And that's when my sister said, it's our middle sister's dog. And that's when my dream made sense. So it wasn't an alien or a baby she was showing me. It was in fact a puppy. And after this dream, I started having other dreams, much, much, much more dramatic. I dreamt a lot about wildfires. I dreamt a lot about war, even genocide. So it was a difficult time because I was trying to settle in a new country, and at the same time I was having these horrible nightmares. And then I also had dreams that were very mundane about daily life. So I was again having prophetic dreams. In 2007, I decided to move to Scotland, Edinburgh. Loved the town, loved everything about Scotland, and it was in 2008 that I started my path as a healer. It's a long story how this started. I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'm just going to say that I started by studying Reiki. So I received my first attunement in 2008, and in 2009 I received my second and third attunement. And it's the third attunement that I'm going to talk about because it opened another door. So I was doing a visualization. In this visualization, I was supposed to be on a path, walking down the path, and on my left, I was supposed to see an animal coming out of a forest. And I saw a wolf. And I thought to myself, yeah, it had to be the majestic wolf. It couldn't be a squirrel or a rat or a mouse. It had to be the wolf. So I didn't believe I was actually visualizing anything. I didn't believe I was meditating, that these images that I was seeing, that I believe they were just projections of my mind, nothing real. So I kept down the path, and this wolf kept on following me. And I was like, why is my mind creating this wolf? Why can't I get rid of this wolf? Jesus, I've been meditating since I was 18, and here I am with this wolf following me. I can't even get rid of this wolf. I need to practice even harder. That's what I thought. Eventually, we ended up by a lake, and when we approached the lake, I saw a salmon. And I thought, yeah, okay, fine. But what are you supposed to see in a lake if not a fish? So I turned around and started walking back to our reality, and I heard this voice. Turn around, look at us. I ignored it. And the voice said again, turn around and look at us. And this time, I actually turned around and I saw salmon and wolf side by side, and they were looking at me, but the way they looked at me, it was like they were looking at my soul. I literally had chills because it was such an intense moment that it's hard to put into words how I felt, how that moment felt. Anyway, got back and I told my teacher what happened. I started analyzing with my mind, and I was like, oh, it was nothing, it was just rubbish. So I didn't pay any attention to it. After this third attunement, my teacher and I, we used to swap services. I used to do Reiki on him and he used to do Reiki on me. And during our sessions, he kept saying over and over again, Anna, you should meet this person. You should talk to this person. This didn't happen just once or twice. It happened many times. And at the time, I didn't believe in shamanism. Quite the opposite. And I never had the courage to tell him, look, I don't believe in shamanism. It's not my path. I'm a Buddhist. That's not me. But I didn't have the heart to tell him that. And what I did was I visited the website. I actually read for the first time about soul retrieval, soul loss, power retrieval. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is definitely what I'm going through. This referring to soul loss. So what did I do? I started reading about shamanism, and in 2 weeks I booked a session. Why is this important? Because at that time it took me at least 6 months to make a decision. And that on that day I decided I'm going to book a session. I'm going to see what this is about. So that was when I started walking the path of shamanism. During my first session with a shaman, I journeyed by myself. I didn't even know I could do that. And my power animal was a mouse, which I thought, oh yeah, okay, fair enough. An animal just like any other. I don't have any kind of prejudice about mice. I like them. And we went here, there to grab and retrieve soul parts. But then something very, very interesting happened. So this was 2010, I should say. And this mouse took me to the same place I had been a year before, where wolf and salmon were still looking at me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was gobsmacked. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw salmon and wolf just as they were a year earlier. And the wolf started walking towards a forest, and we did what we had to do. Then this wolf tried to eat me. At the time, I didn't know that this was a normal shamanic practice, so I stopped the wolf, and the wolf stopped as well and just bit me on the shoulder. Bit me on the shoulder and said, you are one of us, you are part of the pack. So I returned to the normal state of consciousness, and I told the shaman what happened. I told her that at the time I had mice at home, and I was the only one who could actually see these mice. They would only appear where I was, and they weren't afraid of me. And she said, that is a sign that a new power animal is going to be part of your life. So they're showing themselves in the physical world as a warning to let you know that they're coming to be a power animal. This whole experience made me believe about shamanism. So my prejudice about shamanic practices, they just were gone, just like that, gone. After this experience, I decided to learn more about shamanism. So I read a lot more about these practices. I learned that it's normal to have prejudice about shamanism because we are observing shamanism from an observer point of view rather than actually being part of the whole experience, and then changes the viewpoint because you're no longer observing, you're being part of it, you're participating, you're feeling things. And that changed my viewpoint about shamanism. So I decided to study shamanism through books, and I also did a course. And in 2015, I was already volunteering at a charity where they offered holistic therapies. I was invited to be to step up rather than just dealing with paperwork, to step up and become a healer. At the beginning, I didn't want to because I lacked confidence. My purpose was never to be a healer, but I felt, you know what, I love helping people. I absolutely love helping those in need. So I said, yes, I will do that. And at the same time that I said, yes, I will do that, Spirit told me, you've gone through so much. Now it is time to help those who are going through the same things you went through. And while Spirit was saying this, it showed me the pain that I went through with my family. Also, after the 2008 credit crunch, that I was made redundant, I was unemployed for a while, and how awful it was, and how I felt. And without a shadow of a doubt, I said, yeah, if I can help anyone who's going through the same things that I went through, I want to be there. I want to help them because no one should go through those things alone.